Hey there, deep divers. So today, we're going to be looking into some changes that Starbucks is making.
Yeah.
And we've got this Fox Business article that kind of details everything. And I thought it'd be fun to take a deep dive into it.
Yeah, I think there's some really interesting points here for sure.
For sure. Because, Starbucks has always tried to be that third place.
Yeah.
Right? That comfy spot outside of home and work where you can relax, work, or meet up with friends.
Right.
But this article suggests that they might be shifting gears a little bit.
Yeah, it highlights a pretty significant policy reversal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remember back in 2018 when Starbucks made headlines?
Oh, yeah?
By declaring their bathrooms open to everyone, even non-paying customers?
I remember that, yeah.
It was a bold move towards inclusivity,
Uh-huh.
Now they seem to be kind of walking that back a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So no more bathroom breaks for window shoppers?
Well, not quite.
Oh.
Their new policy states that only paying customers can use their spaces, restrooms included.
Okay.
And they're also implementing a new coffeehouse code of conduct to outline acceptable behavior.
Okay, so what exactly does this code prohibit?
It's actually quite comprehensive.
Oh, wow.
It covers things like panhandling, smoking, drug use,
Okay.
bringing in outside alcohol,
Yeah.
and disruptive behavior, basically anything that could negatively impact the customer experience.
Right.
They're even saying they might involve law enforcement if people don't follow the rules.
Wow, that does feel like a pretty big shift.
Yeah.
The article did mention that these kinds of codes are common practice for retailers.
Right.
But for Starbucks, who've always promoted themselves as a community hub, it feels different.
Right. It certainly raises questions about their commitment to that third place ideal.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that this new code of conduct actually mirrors language from a document they posted back in 2020
Really?
called the Use of the Third Place Policy.
They had a third place policy back then.
Exactly.
So they were already thinking about restricting behavior, even while promoting themselves as a welcoming space for everyone.
Exactly.
Wow.
That policy outlines similar prohibited activities,
Oh, okay.
which suggests that this recent shift might have been brewing for a while.
Okay.
Perhaps it wasn't as explicitly stated as it is now, but the seeds were already planted.
So what's Starbucks' official reasoning for this change?
Okay, so according to the article, a Starbucks spokesperson emphasized the need to prioritize paying customers and create a better environment for them.
All right.
Their goal is to enhance the cafe experience and get back to Starbucks.
Get back to Starbucks.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
That's a good question.
What Starbucks are they trying to return to? And is it possible to reclaim that while simultaneously limiting access to their spaces?
Yeah.
It seems kind of counterintuitive.
Right. It definitely highlights the tension between their desire to be a third place and the realities of being a for-profit business.
Well, and businesses need to make money.
Right.
But can they truly be a community hub
Right.
if they're excluding people based on their purchasing power?
That's a really good point.
It's like they're saying community, but only for those who can afford it.
It challenges the very notion of what a third place should be.
Yeah.
Should it be accessible to everyone regardless of their financial means?
Right.
Or is it acceptable to prioritize those who contribute financially?
This reminds me of that incident back in 2018.
Oh, yeah.
When those two black men were arrested
Right.
at a Philadelphia Starbucks for simply waiting for a business associate. They hadn't even ordered anything yet.
Yeah.
It caused a huge uproar, protests, even boycotts.
Yes, that was a defining moment for Starbucks.
It was.
They settled with the men
Uh-huh.
and subsequently announced their open bathroom policy.
Oh, wow.
It seems they were trying to create a more inclusive environment.
Yeah, but now, just a few years later,
Right.
they're seemingly reversing course.
Yeah.
Is this a delayed reaction to that incident, or is it something more?
It's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
The timing is certainly interesting, but it's important to consider the broader context.
Right.
Are they simply responding to isolated incidents, or are they reacting to larger societal trends?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Perhaps this isn't just about Starbucks,
Right.
but about the evolving nature of public and private spaces in a commercialized society.
Well, exactly. It makes you wonder where we go from here.
Yeah.
If traditional third places like Starbucks are becoming more restrictive,
Right.
where can we find those welcoming spaces for connection and belonging?
That's a good question.
It is a good question. It is a good question. It's a question a lot of people are grappling with.
Yeah.
If businesses like Starbucks, who have positioned themselves as these community hubs, are changing their approach, where does that leave the rest of us?
Yeah. And, thinking about this whole third place concept, it feels like there's a fundamental tension there. Can a business driven by profit truly be a space that prioritizes community and inclusivity?
It's a good question.
It seems like those two goals are kind of at odds with each other.
It's an interesting dilemma. On the one hand, businesses want to create these welcoming environments that foster a sense of community.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they have a responsibility to their shareholders to generate revenue. It's this constant balancing act.
And in the case of Starbucks, it seems like the scales are tipping towards the financial side. Their new policies suggest that paying customers are the priority, while those who can't afford a latte might be left out in the cold.
It does raise concerns about equitable access to these so-called third places.
For sure.
If these spaces are becoming more exclusive, it could exacerbate existing social divisions.
So if traditional third places like Starbucks are evolving, where do we go from here?
That's a great question.
Are there alternative spaces emerging that can fill that void?
That's a great question. It really challenges us to rethink our assumptions about where we find community and belonging.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not just about physical locations anymore.
You mean like online communities?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about the rise of online forums,
Yeah.
social media groups, and virtual reality communities.
Yeah.
These digital spaces can foster a sense of belonging and shared interests, regardless of physical location.
It's interesting to consider how technology is reshaping our understanding of community.
It really is.
It's no longer limited by geography or physical boundaries.
Right.
We can connect with like-minded individuals from all over the world.
And that opens up a world of possibilities. Yeah. We can find niche communities that cater to our specific interests, explore diverse perspectives, and build relationships that transcend physical limitations.
It's almost like the definition of third place is expanding to include these digital realms.
I think so.
Maybe the future of community isn't about brick-and-mortar locations, but about finding your tribe online.
It's an exciting prospect, isn't it?
Yeah.
While some might lament the changing landscape of traditional third places, this evolution also presents incredible opportunities for connection and community building.
Right.
We're no longer limited by physical spaces.
So it's almost like Starbucks' shift in policy is pushing us to be more creative.
Yeah.
And intentional about how we cultivate community in our lives.
I agree.
We have to adapt and explore new avenues for connection.
I think that's a key takeaway from all of this.
Okay.
The need for belonging and social connection is fundamental to human nature.
Yeah.
And while the spaces where we find that might change, that underlying desire remains constant.
So if we're moving beyond the traditional third place model, what does that look like in practice? Are there specific online platforms or communities that are particularly good at fostering a sense of belonging?
There are so many options out there. It really depends on your interests and preferences. Some people find community through online gaming platforms like Twitch, while others connect through social media groups dedicated to specific hobbies or causes. Even professional networking sites like LinkedIn can offer a sense of community for those seeking career advice and support.
It's amazing to think about the diversity of communities that exist online.
Yeah.
There's truly something for everyone.
And the beauty of these digital communities is that they're often accessible to people who might feel excluded from traditional third places. For those with mobility issues, social anxieties, or those living in remote areas with limited access to physical gathering spots. Online communities can be a lifeline.
Makes sense.
They provide a sense of belonging and connection that might otherwise be missing from their lives.
It's a powerful reminder that connection can happen anywhere, anytime.
It really is.
It's not about being physically present in a specific location.
Right.
But about finding those shared experiences and interests that bind us together.
Precisely. It's about finding those spaces. Both physical and virtual, where we feel seen, heard, and understood. It's about fostering genuine connections regardless of the medium.
So as Starbucks redefines its role in our lives, it begs the question, where do you find your third place in today's world? What spaces, communities, or experiences bring you that sense of belonging and connection?
We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences on this.
Yeah.
What are the new third places emerging in your life?
Yeah, it really is fascinating to see how this whole concept of the third place is evolving like right before our eyes. We're kind of witnessing this shift from like the traditional brick and mortar establishments to a more diverse landscape that includes online communities and these virtual spaces.
It's a testament to our innate human need for connection.
Yeah.
We're constantly seeking out these spaces where we can feel a sense of belonging, regardless of whether those spaces are physical or virtual.
And this whole shift towards digital third places is really opening up a whole new world of possibilities.
Right.
It's like we're no longer limited by geography or physical limitations. We can connect with people from all corners of the globe who share our interests and passions.
It's truly remarkable. Think about it. You could be sitting in your living room, sipping your coffee, and simultaneously connecting with a community of gamers in Japan.
Wow.
Book lovers in Argentina or fellow podcast enthusiasts right here in the United States.
Yeah.
The possibilities for connection are endless.
It's almost like the internet has become this massive, interconnected third place in and of itself.
Yeah.
There are countless online communities out there.
Yeah.
Each with its own unique culture and norms and inside jokes and stuff.
And the beauty of these online communities is that they often cater to very specific interests and niches. You can find groups dedicated to everything from knitting and gardening to astrophysics and cryptocurrency. Yeah. Whatever you're passionate about.
I love that.
Chances are there's an online community out there for you.
It makes you wonder if this shift towards digital third places might actually be a good thing.
Yeah.
While some people might mourn the decline of traditional gathering spots, these online communities offer a level of accessibility and inclusivity that was previously unimaginable.
I think you're right. For people with mobility issues, social anxieties, or those living in remote areas with limited access to physical gathering places.
Yeah.
These online communities can be a lifeline.
It makes sense.
They provide a sense of belonging and connection that might otherwise be missing from their lives.
It's also worth noting that these online communities can be incredibly supportive.
Oh, yeah.
And empowering. People often turn to them for advice, encouragement, or simply a listening ear. They can be a safe space to share your thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment.
And in some cases, these online connections can even evolve into real-life friendships.
Really?
Yeah, people who initially met online might decide to meet up in person for events, meetups, or simply to hang out and get to know each other better.
Wow, that's really cool.
It is.
So as we navigate this whole evolving landscape of third places, it's clear that both physical and digital spaces have a role to play.
For sure.
Traditional gathering spots like coffee shops and libraries still hold value.
Right.
But online communities are also becoming increasingly important for fostering connection and belonging.
It's all about finding the right balance.
Yeah.
And choosing the spaces that best meet our individual needs and preferences.
Yeah.
Some days you might crave the energy and bustle of a crowded coffee shop.
Yeah.
Other days you might prefer the comfort and anonymity of an online forum.
Right.
It just depends.
The key takeaway here, I think, is that the human need for connection is constant. But the ways in which we fulfill that need are constantly evolving.
And as technology continues to advance, we can expect even more innovative and creative ways to connect with each other.
For sure.
Who knows what the future of third places will hold?
It's exciting to think about.
It is.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with this thought-provoking question to ponder.
Yes.
How has your experience of third places evolved in recent years?
Right. Have you embraced the world of online communities?
Yeah.
Are you finding new ways to connect with like-minded individuals?
Yeah.
We encourage you to reflect on your own journey of connection and share your thoughts and experiences with us.
We're all in this together, deep divers.
We are.
And by sharing our stories and insights, we can help each other navigate this ever-changing landscape of community and belonging.
Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep exploring those spaces, both physical and virtual, that bring you joy and a sense of belonging.
Happy exploring, everyone.